we do here is we have a Q&A, and if there's no question, we will just go on with any topic that we feel. So if you have a question, Anime, a serious question or any question that is close to your curiosity or something, like, you can put it in the chat and we will pick it up and answer it. And it can be anything regarding health, diet, training, philosophy, psychology, religion, politics, any of the likings of those topics, anything that bleeds into well-being in some way or some subtle way. So that's what we are doing here right now. And also you can put if you have a situation in your life, you can also that you would like some help on or some point in the right direction, you can also put that in the chat. Yeah, that's no problem that you're from India. You can put a question anyway. So we don't make a distinction between people groups here. So, but anyway, so yeah, okay. He have anime clips. Just states American versus Iran. Yeah, you have to be somewhat more specific. You can't just write like America versus Iran, because that's a quite big topic. But you can. Is there some particular part of that situation that you are thinking about? Okay, so Anime says, okay, like, because of war in my country, the price of gas and fuel skyrocket. Yeah, it's the same here. No surprise. That's just a part of, just a little part of the agenda, let's say. So that's not a strange thing, and it's a consequence of the Iranian control over the oil and so on. So that's a very big blunder of the American government to make war with Iran. So America and Israel, let's say. So yeah, we have a new Hussein. Hello and welcome back to the live stream here. So Hussein, meet my brother here, Andre in Swedish. And yeah, Hussein has been here for like 3 live streams before. So and as usual, we have a Q&A here, but meanwhile, if we don't have any questions, we will just keep on talking about whatever we like, and maybe read something or something of the like. So yeah, let's see here. Anime Clips says, what do you think if a police officer becomes against citizens in the protest? The officer is the right cause. Let's see here. What do you think if a police officer becomes against citizens in protest? The officer is the right cause. He just following the orders, but again, he's lost his basic humanity. What is your opinion? Yes, I will. I will agree with that, and you can say I have some experience with this. Actually, I've never worked as a cop, but I work as a security guard, and that is we can sometimes have moral problems as well, the ethic problems and so on, because sometimes you have to do things that you're not agreeing with. So it can be quite hard. The problem, I would say, yes, if it's also depending on how the cop is acting. Do he cause more violence than the orders are prescripted to him to do? Then he absolutely have lost his moral ground and his so-called humanity. Yeah, of course. he getting outside of quite serious boundaries. Um, and of course, it's also depending on the context of of the situation, of course. Um, but let's think about it in a way of a very liberal and government or secular government of that. They are, uh, yeah, they are very much losing their humanity when they are going in line with the politics and acting in the line of the politics. So it's not that a job as a police is a well-paid job anyway. So make the effort to search for a new job if it's hurting your own people. That's my take on it. Um, and then he says, because we don't have anything to talk about, I thought it's interesting to tell you about my politic politic things in India, because it's like new revolution in India is going on right now. So yeah, keep that thought. We will like to hear about that very much. But I first off, I want to hear my brother's take on this. You have a quick take on that, Andrea? What do you think about the humanity of the cop that are acting against its own brother, so to say, this citizen protests?
One thing is like I think the masses can also be full of themselves at times, and they can misinterpret certain things when they come together in a herd, and it becomes the herd mentality, so on. So the masses ain't always right either, but of course, it's a liberal democracy. It's not necessarily uh, the noble cause you stand for as a cop, as I see. That probably as far as I think about it right now.
I agree with that as well. That's what also something that came to my mind, because it's as you say, Andre, that it's not always that the cop is is doing the wrong thing. That's why I said it's contextual as well, and mass formation and mass psychosis is also very common. So yeah, a good take there, Andre. And Snabbe, let's see here. I think you're a Swedish guy, right? Or maybe you're English. I don't know. But Snabael, he asked if we know Marcus Folin, also known as the Golden One. No, we don't know him personally, but we know of him. And my brother have some how do you say it in English? You have common friends or the like.
Yeah, we have some common friend. I have at least one friend that knows him person.
Yeah. So
Uh, More than
so
that.
he's quite well known in Sweden, Marcus Folin. So yeah. So we have another question here from Anime Clips. Who's your favorite philosopher? Uh, there's a lot of good philosophers, I would say that, but I don't have any favorite actually, because I see philosopher as quite to be bland. Oftentimes, philosophy or philosophers is oftentimes system building. It's not always grounded in reality. It can be quite just a system building, but um, I would say the church fathers is is the best philosophers. Pick any of them. I would say one of my favorites is Saint Maximus the Confessor. That's one of my favorites. Do you have any favorite philosopher, Andre?
I do think Plato, in Plato the Republic, is like one of the best books in philosophy I have read. But it's also the only book by Plato I have read, and I think uh,
I think you have to speak
he
closer
was
to
very
the mic, and
working with the Republic before time.
speak closer to the mic.
I really like that one, and then of course I really like the few books of Rene Guénon that I also have read, and of course, as you know, I read of Julius Evola, so that is also something that I I really like. Some people might be a little bit iffy with Julius Evola, and I do admit that I think in Rene Guénon is better in many ways, also because he's easier to grasp and so on. And of course, Julius Ebola's mentor was Rene Guénon, even if they only exchanged like letters with each other and so on. But they had differences in certain aspects. So, besides from that, someone that has been with me uh, for a time is Friedrich Nietzsche. Even if I do understand there is problematic aspects with Nietzsche, I do also think he touches upon stuff that feels kind of, um, oh yeah, I get it right off the bat as you get into this um, perspectivism and nihilism and stuff like that. Not I'm a nihilist. But still, there are things
Andre, 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 can you speak closer to the mic?
yeah, did you not hear me at all?
Uh, I did hear you, but not that loud. No, it's better now. So yeah, I heard what you said. Yeah. So it's of course hard to take a favorite philosopher right off the bat, and yeah, and the same person here is asking if let's see, are you atheist or theist? I am definitely a theist, not an atheist.
I am not an atheist, but as when it comes to God, I'm still thinking a lot about the different aspects of it, and I can't call myself out on being this or that really fully. If even if at times I think I'm a theist, I still am not defining that at the moment.
So do you maybe call you more like an agnostic?
I'm pretty close to agnostic, but I'm more at in the believing of God than I am an agnostic, but probably pretty much there, yeah, as
Yeah.
an agnostic.
So I if I can just pick your brain, not your brain, but try to define it a little bit. My sense is that you get an intuition that there is a God, but you don't know how that God is and why that God is, and how God relates to us. You're still looking for answers and still and exploring, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, we have a okay. So Sanavel says, "Oh, okay. I try to keep up with Swedish politics somewhat. but I know relatively little living in the US. Yes, of course. Scandinavia is quite small. Sweden is even smaller. But Sweden has been on the tongue and the mouth of your president. So yeah, because Sweden is quite an extreme country, as actually, and somewhat of an experiment country, you can say, very Americanized, actually. So, uh, Hussein, if you can't tell me, I don't know what you mean about that, Hussein. If you can clarify, I will. We would appreciate that so we can answer more. So we have a son, Snaevel. I don't know how to pronounce that name, but Snable we call you. He says my favorite Evola book is Hermetic Tradition. After that, I became more interested in Theosophy and Rudolf Steiner. Okay, yeah. Uh, I haven't, me personally, haven't read anything from Evola. I read a bit about him. I read a lot about Hermeticism. I read a lot of Carl Jung, and he is delving deep into that. And also read some Rudolf Steiner and nothing about. And I've not read anything from Blavatsky with theosophy and that. I would I would actually say don't read Blavatsky, and Rudolf Steiner is like a New Age Christian. Yeah, that's he had some good things, but I haven't. I'm not well read on him, but just the knowledge of his what to say, like bland. Just to say bluntly, what his stance and belief are, and philosophy and so forth. Wouldn't read that much of him, actually. Not that interested. Carl Jung also said actually that he did not find anything interesting about Rudolf Steiner. So yeah, that's just a little nugget. But so anyway, um, just before going into
Julius
that
Evola
text,
had
say
a
what have you to say about that? Have you read Hermetic Tradition from Evola, Andre?
Yeah, I've read it actually 2 times. I think it's for me. I find it about the harder books by Julius Evola. I read it 2 times. I found it kind of hard to digest. Some say that the doctrine of awakening is hard, but I do find Hermetic tradition vastly different than many other Hermetic books because it's so vast as go through so many different Hermetic traditions. And also, what was that I thought about? Yeah, Carl Jung did like specifically. Also, Julius did have some things to say about anthroposophy and about Rudolf Steiner, and mostly it was not that good things, so to speak. And if you want to, I can read a little bit about what Julius Evola said about Rudolf Steiner.
Yeah, if it's quite short, but I would just say one thing before you do that. Yeah, I would say Hermeticism is there is a lot of there is a lot of different school, and also it's many of the things is quite demonic, and but there are of course truth in it, but it's very much like Neoplatonism, much of it, and also quite Kabbalistic, and also you have this little demon Hermes Trismegistus that pops up in every century, like Thought and Trismegistus and so on. So yeah, and also, but there is this. I read one book that is. Oh, I don't remember what this name, but it's quite. It's one of the older books of the
Corpus
Hermetic
Hermeticum
script.
or Corpus Hermeticus.
Do you remember what it's called?
Corpus Hermeticum or
Exactly. Yeah,
Corpus
that's the one. That's
Hermeticus.
yes. It's a good read. I remember I liked it. But yeah. Anyway, so enemy clip says so goodbye guys. I have sleep. Okay. Yeah, that's great. Don't be up too late. That's a good routine there. Um, let's see here. Keep that thought on Andre. I just want to go through the chat here so we don't miss any questions. So Hussein, that is a continuously joining the streams here. He says he's a Muslim and he reads the Quran. But if I sleep in the bed, I looked by Hanad. I don't know what by Hanad. Me, I see a dad. My dad. I'm Muslim. I read Quran. I sleep. I look behind me. My dad and my dad. They. I think he's talking about his. Yeah, of course, his belief and also his dad. That he told us last time that his dad died in the U.S. Actually. So we have a other guy from India here. How does it feel to know that Indian temple depict wormhole travel machines and their engineers? Yeah, you had this question last time, and I don't know what you're pointing to. It sounds pretty wild, my friend. So if you can clarify it a little bit without the excess of emojis, please do so. But I don't know how to feel about the Indian temples depicting wormholes in the travel machines with the engineers. I don't know what quite. So for me, it sounds quite funny, but yeah, you can clarify it. No hard feelings there, but yeah. So Snavel asks or states, I come out of my research as a agnostic as well. Much of the combinations between Eastern and Western metaphysics becomes self-negating on its face. Um, yeah. Um, yes, of course. Um, it depends. Western metaphysics is depending on who you're reading and what you're reading, of course. But yeah, um, I can just tell you that I am an Eastern Orthodox, so I don't follow any like a Western metaphysics in that way, and that's also because I didn't find anything that was coherent. There were always so many question marks that I and some and contradictions and so on. So I have found the truth in the Eastern Orthodox Church. That's how I have come to actually. I read. Of course, I read people that I don't totally agree with. That's why before I also said that it's very hard to find a favorite philosopher outside of a religious tradition because there are truth in many philosophers and so on. Of course, Plato, Aristotle, and so on, and even psychoanalysis like Carl Jung and so forth. But not they don't go the whole way, and many of it fall into Gnosticism and self praising and elevating one's self and ego and so forth. And yeah, so it's quite a melting pot there. But what you say about that and what he said, you can also read it out loud if you want to. I don't know if you remember what he said, but you can see it, right, Andre? A comment from Snable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you say about that? Do you have any?
I mean, I didn't grasp exactly what he meant by that, because uh, if he did not meant actually Gnosticism instead of agnostic.
So my interpretation of what he said is he came out of his research as a agnostic. The result of him looking into the metaphysics of East and West. If that's correct, you can tell us if that's right or not, or you can just clarify it. What you mean about that. So let's see here. Indian Temple is continuing here with the wormholes here. I like Contact from Carl Sagan. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is, Andre?
I've heard the name before. I think it's like some uh, astronomer, something.
Physicist.
I think Aaron used to talk about.
Yeah, he's an astrophysicist. I remember now that he told me last time that he's an astrophysicist. So you're right about that. Uh,
Yeah, more than that, I don't really can remember.
no, no. So Hussein says, sorry for my typing. Sorry for my typing. Yeah, no problem, Hussein. You just write and I try to interpret it in the right way. Then you can correct me. Do you have any questions? You put it in the chat, Hussein. Much appreciated if you do so. Let's see here. So Indian Temple says, we're the replicate, replicants in the off-world colonies, but without powers, more enslaved Earth out there. Yeah, what you're saying sounds more like Mormonism. Yeah. Religion were created by aliens to give alien human hybrid sense of moral and justice. No, I will disagree right off the bat there, Indian Templars. That's like Zechariah Stitchin nonsense. Sorry, but that's just the truth. And it's uh, it's a demonic doctrine, and also Zechariah Stitchin were a Freemason, and he were a sci-fi writer also, and this interpretation of like the Anunnakis, like they come aliens from outer space and teach humans different like archi- um, agriculture and music and magic and everything. That's just a rebranding from the Book of Enoch, actually. So, of anything, look in a bit of the Book of Enoch because it's demons. Aliens are demons. Nothing more, nothing less. It's demons. So,
It's also an agenda to get the humans to accept certain kinds, like accept the demon, so to speak, and show it as something benevolent, while it's really, and then later on tell them that this alien is a reflection of your future self or something like that.
Yes.
There's where the time travel, and it seems to be like just to get human beings to accept the demons.
Yes, and isn't it funny that secularized people can believe in aliens but not in angels and demons and God? But anyway, I will just say this: Indian temple. I have seen these grays and aliens. They are demons, I can tell you. They come into your dreams. They come into your uh, to when you are going into the noetic realm, you will eventually eventually meet them. So and also the first actually the first picture of a this the archetype of this gray the grays. It was a a demon that Alistair Crowley uh, painted, and he said that this demon is the demon that gave him the knowledge and the rituals and all this. And this is um, the same pattern you can see in the Book of Enoch and so on when they come down and mate with humans and so on. So yeah, it's a spiritual question, and they corrupt humans, and then the humans become the manifestation of the demon in a bodily form, so to say. Yeah. Um, let's see. Hussein says another world. People say they saw an alien. I don't know exactly how to interpret that, but I think you mean that there were some people that saw aliens, and yeah, uh, it is a part of a psyop, but also they are demons. Um, so yeah, it be two things can be true at the same time. So uh, let's see what he says. He says, "I believe in evil people and good people, but demons as child fantasies." Crowley a nut case. Yes, I think you misunderstood me. Yes, of course, Crowley was a nutcase, but he did summon demons. And don't you think that aliens are more crazy to think about or believe in than spiritual realities like angels and demons? I don't know. Yeah, yeah, it's crazy. So, and this with like the spaceships and so on. Yeah, it's a psyop as well. It's just unidentified flying objects. It's not that crazy. The governments can have those as well. So yeah, what do you say
But
about that?
also, I also think it's weird that it's always assumed as there is something unidentified, an unidentified object. It's like the conclusion that that is alien. And there are also things that goes into that. I think is both like it's a wishful thinking. Wow, an alien. Oh, cool, and also that there's it's nothing that says that that must be an alien just because you see something that you can't identify.
Yeah, right.
Very shallow that way.
Yeah, agree. So, Alien Hashimoto reset. I recognize your alias there, Alien. I think I have you on Instagram actually. So she says, "Do you believe it's all a psyop, or that some of it is fake and some of it is real?" The real part is, I think, or quite certain of, is that aliens are demons, and the whole alien phenomena is yeah, it's quite clearly a psyop. It's, as my brother said before, that it's a way of luring people in to believe that they are they are benevolent, and also maybe that they are us in the future, you know. And just look at the gray for starters. It's a sterile form of being. It doesn't have genitals. It can't produce more children. It is, it's a sterile life form, and that is actually a part of a demon as well. They can't reproduce. They have no way of reproduct. So yeah, it's mostly a psyop. It's a psyop from both government, and the government is lured in by, of course, demons and so on. But yeah, as I said, two things can be true at the same time. Um, so let's see here. Indian temple secret term data says Psi rules govern in all cosmos. Life is everywhere. Everything, galaxy, advanced life. It's quite strange sentence building, so I don't really know what you mean, but maybe you can clarify. And let's see, Hussein says, sorry, I need to sleep. Good night. One question tomorrow. You are in like. But, Hussein, thank you very much for joining in again. And hope you have a good night's sleep. And I hope to see you next live stream. And yes, I will try to do tomorrow. I can't promise it because I'm working tomorrow, so quite a lot. So maybe I do a live stream tomorrow. Not sure. But I will do a live stream. Sleep tight. Um, what do you say about that, Andre? About what Ellen Hashimoto's reset said? She said, "You believe it's all a psyop, or that some is fake and some of it is real?"
I mean, I think about it as they can always blend in like truths and half truths together with the lie to make the lie seem more feasible. But uh, as a whole, it becomes like deceptive.
So, let's see if we have any new participants. Everyone new to this live stream, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That would be much appreciated. Uh, and Also, something else that would be very much appreciated is if you put a question in the chat. You can ask anything really, but I try to focus on anything that is good for well-being in general. So anything that bleeds into that. Let's see. Indian Temple says again here, the same physics rule of the cosmos. Life is common out there. The same physics rule all the cosmos. Life is common out there. Okay, you mean that the rule of physics is everywhere, and that cosmos is all the cosmos. So let's see, life is common out there. That there are much. Yeah. Could there be life on other planets? I don't know, but I don't think so. Uh, if you just think about space in like more symbolically, it's a void. So that should tell you something. It's a dark void. So and it's a part that we can't reach. So before we were able to take our spacecraft and go out to space, the only thing we could do was like look up in the stars. And that's more meaningful because that is rooted in our experience. And you don't know if it was, the moon landing, for example, quite clearly is quite fake. So yeah, and I know that Indian government did have a space travel a couple of years ago, and that was clearly fake. It looked like Atri game from the 1970s. So yeah, could be a psyop. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I think so. Yeah. Let's see. He say they live down here, hiding since millenniums. Yeah, I heard so as well. But what's under our feet, as it was told, the pit of fire, right? The lower parts of the earth is where the dark entities lives. So that's just something that you can think about without thinking about it in material uh, secular thinking, that it has to be physical, like a real monster or something like that. So yeah, let's see here. Elin Hashimoto's reset says yes, but do you think it can be technologies that the government has that they don't want to display to the public because they don't want us to know that they have them? Yes, of course. We actually talked about this earlier in the stream, that it's two things, it's a spiritual reality, but it's also a component of the government that have unidentified, what is called unidentified, flying saucer or something like that. So, of course, it can be a government spacecraft, or not a spacecraft, or just uh, a flying military craft of some sort. And I think it's more like they are quite clearly want to push this out to people right now as well, and they want people to believe it actually. But it's like this hide and seek. They want you to think that it's a secret, but at the same time, they want you to believe it. And now they are pushing it really, really, really much. And so, yeah, absolutely. It most likely is a government creation. So, what do you say about that, Andre?
Yeah, I agree about that here.
So, and she says now, yes, when it comes to aircraft, for example, perhaps they don't want us to know that they can defy gravity, have endless energy, or move faster than the speed of light and things like that. Yeah, of course. I think you have to separate those things. It's one thing that it can be aircraft from the government that they use and so on, and they can also at the same time use this as a psyop, and to try to, in a quite tricky way, to lure people into a strange world view. And also that it's also true, but distinct from this, that they have technologies that we don't are aware of course, because it's just look at like AI, for example, that has been and these large language models, LLM, or what they call like ChatGPT and so on. they have been used in governments for like 40, 30, 40 years already. So it's nothing new. So you can, of course, if you have like 30% of what they have, you know, and they have a lot more than we see because they don't just give away their tools, you know, they have to be above their citizen, so to speak, especially when it's preying on its own people. So, and that's both physically and economically and spiritually. So, Indian Temple says the wormhole travel is almost instant, like Stargate and Omega Galaxy in minute, not. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I would just say to that, yeah, I don't know what to say about that, actually. So, I don't think it's that interesting, actually, because you have to have your feet on the ground, and that is also people think like it's when it's a psyop, it's like one directed, but when you look what governments and so on do, it's always one shot that result in many different plans. So for for the topic we're talking about now, it's also a thing that it is a distraction from other things. That is the thing that don't get distracted by this uh, meaningless things. It's good to be aware of it, have some kind of thought about it and like that, but don't delve into it because that's one part of the psyop that you're distracted. For instance, the alien thing, why do you push it right now? One thing is maybe because they don't want to people to dwell that deep into Epstein files, for instance. Even if that also is a distraction, they maybe don't want to. They want to make a distraction because of all the wars that the American Israel is participating in right now. That's also one thing, and also a common distraction from everything else in the world, like mass immigration and all the grapes and all the problem that the whole Western world has at the moment and have had it for many years. So yeah, I just say to that, you know, it's good to read about, but or have some knowledge of it, just to not be deceived. But in the end, it's nothing to put all your energy on. And I understand that you don't do it, Ellie, but I'm just talking in general. But I will say this, Ellie, if you want to look into this topic from a more sober perspective, I would recommend you to read a book from Saint Seraphim Rose, uh, uh, Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future. Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future. Write that down and read it. It's a good read. It's a quite easy read. There it is. There it is. Can you see it? It's a really, really good book. And yeah, I don't remember when he wrote it, but I think he wrote it in like early 80s, and he's spot on. And a complement to that book is also actually a short writing from Carl Jung, I would say, that is. I actually read that um, some years before I read the Seraphim book. That Seraphim also mentioned Carl Jung's essay on UFOs. It's also very interesting from a psychoanalysis perspective. But as you might know, Jung were a lot into metaphysics and so on as well. So Ellen says 100%. Yes, it's probably both, but I mean there are way cleaner and more efficient ways of producing energy for free. But every time someone comes up with that kind of technology, it just disappears. Yes, I noticed that as well, and I saw I started to read a little article. I don't remember. It was uh, about how you can sustain with the water and so on. It was yeah, you can actually do that like in a homestead. You can have a energy through water and so on. But yes, that's a great point. And isn't that also what they do with in the medical business? You know, there are ways that is both cheap and good and well to manage quite serious deficiencies and sicknesses and so on conditions. So it's the same as when yeah, they take away our freedom and they want to control everything that they can make money from as well. So yeah, and at the same time they can make us sicker. So, do you have anything to say about that, Andre?
Um, mm, I had certain thoughts coming here and there. The necessarily to like also that like wormhole thought stories. I mean, that's something that is told through Hollywood and so on. And many of those things are first introduced to the human mind through Hollywood and so on, because they warm up the population towards that kind of stuff. When it comes to Ellen's, um, uh, what she read, wrote here, um, yeah. I think there's many things like that. There are people that get killed for um, inventing a certain chamber that could heal the body and stuff like that. I remember there's some kind of stone that I can't remember exactly, so I shouldn't update her. Maybe she can remember what.
I don't know if you had the mic a little further away from your mouth.
Yeah, okay. You hear my better now?
Yeah, better now. Perfect. We did hear you, but just a little of the. So Elin Hashimoto's reset says here, continues here to say, "Thank. I will check it out. I think the Orthodox Church is the foundation of Christianity. Or am I wrong? Yes, maybe also they want to create an unified outer threat so that they can become our saviors. Yes, spot on.
That's
Agreed. Yes,
exactly what I thought.
yes, agreed with the last part that the outer threat that they become our saviors, and that was what Andrew, my brother, said before as well. And uh, I agree that Orthodox Christianity is the foundation, and it's not the foundation of Christianity. It is Christianity. It's the only Christianity. Uh, so it's a hard line there. So I say start resurfing Rose, and if you're interested in the Orthodox Church, check out if you have an Orthodox Church nearby you, and participate in the services in the Holy Liturgy, and check it out. You won't be disappointed. And read into it, read the Bible, and so on. The Orthodox, get a Orthodox study Bible. That's a good tip. So Snabel says, "Sorry, I've been absent for some time, but how do you think Swedish and Scandinavian politics will evolve in the next decade? I apologize if this is obvious, up to us and distracting. No, 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 absolutely not, Snabel. It's not distracting us from anything here. Good question. And I will be quite consist here because I have talked a lot, and I think my brother here have good insights. So, but I will just say how it will progress in the next decade. Um, I say, folks in the Scandinavian countries in the West, buckle up. It will be a wild ride, and it will be a ride in some dark pits. So try to get out of the city. That's my tip. It's a prison. If you haven't watched Escape from New York, do that because that's quite prophetic, actually. So yeah, no, it will um, escalate and become like it is right now, but 10 times worse. So what do you say, Andrew?
Yeah, I have thought about that for a long time, and while don't keep a check on Swedish politics to any extent, um, uh, that's where it's going. By that, I mean that I more check on other countries' politics than I have in Swedish politics. So, but of course, this is the direction that I have kind of thought for my whole life that the politics is going, so to speak. For me, it has always been like a child can see where this is going. It's not hard unless the person in question is very launched. They are afraid to speak their mind and so on, and they will even water down their own opinion in a group where there are certain kinds of people and so on. They are very malleable. Maybe that's a bit cynical, but
Yeah. So for you who don't know, we are brothers, me and Andre, and we were talking about this in early age, and my brother have been uh, quite a soldier for truth, you can say, in his youth and into his yeah, later youth, you can say, in the late 20s maybe, and yeah, been a good analyzer and good to put light on important parts of politics and so forth. So in early age. So yeah, maybe we can do a stream about that only with a little bit better sound next time and so on. And maybe we don't do it vertically only because we can maybe do a horizontal and a vertical live stream. So with more structure and better sound and so on. So yes, Ellen Hashimoto's reset continues here, and she says, "Yes, everything we need is in nature because we are nature. God has created everything we need to be healthy. And with that as a foundation, we can incorporate modern methods if needed." Yeah, absolutely. Um, Spot on. It's the problem is that we are full of pride and we are full of laziness. So we take technology and just use it as children using food, using dangerous toys, and so on. We don't integrate it, and we use it when we really don't need it. As you said, most everything we have already. You know, that's why I know it's hard to put in your mouth, but you shouldn't fear like poverty even you know, if you have poverty, you still have God, and He will provide. He will provide. It's easy to say if you live in a modern society, but it is really true, because if you look at the well-being of people in a less developed country, it's they are mentally more well off, actually. And yeah, go back to nature in everything, into your go back to your human nature as well, and become fully human, because we are not fully human. No one is. We are in the developing part to become fully human. Remember the fall, I can say. Remember the fall. Uh, so Hussein, he's back. Okay, she didn't sleep that long. So 30 minutes, right? Uh, yeah, okay. Snuggle says, thank you guys. Thank you for the good questions. Um, thank you very much. So if we have some new participants here, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. It would be very appreciated from my side. And if you have any questions, put it in the chat and we will pick it up and we will answer you. Meanwhile, do you have something you want to talk on, Andre?
Yeah, I thought about a little stuff here, and Savile Snable is here still.
Snape, are you here still?
Yeah. So yeah, I see. He mentioned um, Rudolf Steiner and Madame Blavatsky, anthroposophy and philosophy and so on. And what I thought about that was uh, there's a couple of books one could go into to analyze or look into that. It's like Theosophy, History of a Pseudo Religion by Rene Guénon, and followed by that, The Spiritist Policy by Rene Guénon, and also followed by that, The Fall of Spirituality by Julius Evola, and followed by that, um, I haven't read this book fully yet, but I would think that would be perfect to have right after the Julius Evola book, and then follow up that with Occult Feminism, The Secret History of the Women's Liberation by Rachel Wilson. So this bunch of books followed by each other could probably be a good antidote to New Age, one could say. Um, because as you, Matthias, you have read Orthodox and the Religion of the Future, and goes into this UFO stuff there as well, from my understanding.
Yes, it does.
So it feels like these five books will go very, very good together. To like even it's vastly different authors, and they might deviate from one another here and there. There's still like red line to be followed throughout those books.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you showed the book from René Gonon, but the small book, it was the first book I read from him, and I think that was the first book you also read, The Crisis of the Modern World.
No, I didn't show that. That is a really good read, actually.
Yeah, it's really good, and it's a very simple, straight book, and it's good to read now in this time as well. So yeah, thank you for that book recommendation, Andre. So Erlin Hashimoto's reset continues here. So she asks, "Do you think we're close to the last days, and if so, then why?" I will say every second that goes by, we are closer to the last days. That's just a fact. If it's tomorrow, if it's in an hour, if it's in 2 weeks or 5 years, it actually doesn't matter. The important part is your salvation, your healing, becoming fully human. Because as it says in the Bible, he will come as a thief in the night. You won't know when it comes. So you better be prepared. You better work on yourself and your character, and you better participate in God's energy and try to combat the demonic passions. Try to become a better person. I know it's cliche, but that is the purpose of all salvation, to be fully human and heal our soul. And of course, I would say, as a Eastern Orthodox Christian, I say, go to the hospital for souls. That is the Orthodox Church. There you will find the healing. Uh, you will find a spiritual father that will guide you, and you will uh, you will see yourself and your darkness and your yeah, your all the things that you're embarrassed about and that you are hesitating to acknowledge in yourself as well. And you will come in communion with people. It's not about you, it's about other people. But it's uh, it's both end there as well, because if you don't know yourself, it's very hard to come close to other people. If you know yourself better, if you see your recklessness in yourself, it's also much easier to have humility towards other people and understand other people and come in communion with other people. And yeah, and the church is the organic body of Christ. He says that himself. Is the church is his body. So he's the head of the church, or we are his organic body. So, I would say, Elin, that do not dwell too deep into like end times. That's a Protestant form of theology. End times and the lake of fire is coming, and we will burn like, you know, yeah. So don't put too much energy on think about that. The thing you should think about is to think upon your own salvation. So, and yeah, humility, and uh, be grateful for life and see everything in life with meaning and as an adventure. But it is quite an adventure if you think about it, and be very grateful for the everything you got. Don't look at other people what they have, because you don't know what they are going through, even though it's on the outside it seems that they have everything in order and they are blessed with everything. So you have been dealt your cards and they have been dealt their cards, and you know so Snavel seems he get a thumbs up for your reading recommendations there, I think, Andre. Indian Temple comes here with another interesting statement. That afterlife is our little ego longing, waiting, continue, continuity. Okay, sorry. Afterlife is our little ego longing, waiting continuity. Yeah, I can't pronounce it. But you're born again, unrelated to the last you, sadly, no karma. Um, the sentence building is a bit strange, so I can't really understand. But I think you're talking about afterlife, of course, and that afterlife life is our little ego. You mean that? Yeah, no, I'm lost. I'm lost. I need to have it
I
clarified.
think
Uh,
maybe
maybe understand it better? And
I think maybe he means like letting go of everything, so that you become like nothing or nothingness, or maybe it's some ontological shift. I don't know exactly what he mean, but letting go of the little ego, longing, waiting. Yeah, because the birth and rebirth is because the ego wants to be rebirth, so to speak.
okay,
Because it's like earthbound thing, the ego, something like that. I think maybe he means. And
well, as always, it's there are truth
what do you say?
in that as well. The e, yeah, that was right. So of course there are truth in that as well. It's very true that the ego is something that we need to get over. We need to get above the ego. Um, it's a little dark part of ourselves. And it's it's also the ego is oftentimes creating many problems for us because we start to think about what is good for us, what is you know um, we think about what people say about us, what we want to elevate ourselves even though we are not supposed to elevate ourselves and so on. uh, so that is connected also to humility and so on, that we should shrink our ego and then get above it. So yeah. Elin Hashimoto's reset continues, says here, beautifully said. Gratitude is so important. What do you think are the best ways to become more self aware of our own shortcomings or of our own blind spots? Uh, I would say, of course, to uh, realize our own uh, discrepancies, our own faults, so to say. And something that is very helpful is I oftentimes recommend to be very, very cautious and very, how to say it in English, suspicious, very suspicious of yourself. Be suspicious because, as we talked about the ego, be suspicious. It's the ego that plays the trick here, oftentimes, and be very suspicious of your thoughts. Be very aware of your thoughts. Do not cling to thoughts. Don't um, don't let the thoughts steer you in ways that you're not you're not not supposed. I don't know how to say it in English really, but you're not. Yeah, I can say it like this. That is not pointing in is that is not aligned with the good, so to say. And but that can be very tricky. So first off, be very aware of your thoughts and your thought processes. Try to observe it, in your I think you're quite well adjusted to like meditation and so on. So um, be observing your thoughts, be suspicious of the thoughts, because your thoughts isn't yourself. With these external things, and it's also things that comes from your lower part of your own soul, and it's not always something that comes from God, because you have to clean your eye of the soul before you can get a good thoughts from God. So oftentimes it's also demonic, and as I said, lower parts of your soul, the more primitive part of the soul. Uh, so be suspicious is very, very important. And more practical things is, of course, meditation, fasting for many days, and something that many people don't do, but that are secular people, of course, but praying. Praying is essential, very essential. Have a praying routine. For us Orthodox, the Jesus prayer is the it's a very important prayer because it's very simple, and it's something that will calm all your temptations and passions. And you can do it every time you get suspicious of yourself, every time you fall into temptation, and everything like anger and so on as well. So, yeah, and just look at your own patterns. How do you behave? How do people react to your behavior? And yeah, there's a lot of things you can do. I don't want to talk too much here. So, Andre, what do you say about the commentary Elling has Modus said?
Yeah, I think you said it also. So, but yeah, meditation is something I've done a lot myself. I do it more other times, less other times. Um, I also think about my breath. If I feel like my heart starts to palpitate, stress or something, I think, okay, I need to lower my heart rate a bit. So take a couple of deep breaths. It's like very cliche, but it works because you get self-aware, so to speak. And, that's applicable to life in general.
Yeah, and also the yes uh, to uh, to piggyback on that. That's also a part of the Jesus prayer, actually. That the breathing is very important because you breathe up, you fill your lungs and you look up. You don't have to look up, but it's yeah, more. Uh, yeah, you look up in the sense of it when you breathe. You take a big breath. You breathe in, and Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, and then you breathe out. Have mercy on me, a sinner. So you go down to your low. Your God is above and you're below. So that's also showing the hierarchy there. So and what you do is you put the prayer in your heart, so you clean purify your heart as well. So the breathing is very important because the monks and saints and so on. There's eventually the monks they pray constantly, constantly, and breathe into this pattern. But yeah, um, Indian temple says praying helps with meditation. Yeah. Um, yes, it's yeah, go in one another, and I would say again, the Jesus prayer is a meditative prayer, actually. So uh, Elin Hashimoto's Reset says, I appreciate your advice. How do you meditate, fast, and pray? Um, how do I meditate? I usually do the Jesus prayer, as I said, but I also do focused meditation actually, and that is more of a tool. I see it more as a tool. I if I need to be more focused and um, more attached or more, let's say, functional in the external world, I do meditation with open eyes, with focused meditation. Focus on one spot and meditate on that, because then you anchor yourself in the external. So you're more like aware of your external, and it's also um, it's, I do my routine is at least 15 minutes a day, a focused meditation, because that is in the world we live in today, we have a lot of distraction, and what we have in front of us, everyone right now, is the phone, and that's a big distraction for most of the people in the modern world. So a focused meditation is really necessary, actually, because we have so many distractions. So you can focus on what you are doing. And I would also say reading is a really good tool and a practice you have to do every morning or evening and so on, because that is training your attention span. And also, then, yeah, of course, sometimes I do longer meditation. Before I did a lot of breath work, but I am quite of extreme person. I have later years balanced that out, but I did that for many years. Quite intense breathing exercises every day in a couple of years, and I got some health issues from it actually. But it also is a fantastic tool if it's used with precaution, and do not dwell too deep in the spiritual part of it, as I did. So yeah, but and also fast and pray. Yeah, prayer. I would say get it. Prayer. We pray in the liturgy, in the Vesper services, but also personal prayer. You should pray, morning, evening, morning and midday and evening. And then I pray often free prayers, but also the morning prayers and the evening prayers from the tradition of the Orthodox Church. So if you're interested in that, you can get a Orthodox prayer book. Uh, the little blue one or the little red one uh, is good, and it's the same prayers for everyone, because the thing is that we are supposed to pray in our home, uh, at the same time all over the world. So, and I think it was Saint Chrysostomus that said our home should be as little churches when we're not in church. So we should have our prayer corner and with our icons and so forth. Uh, yeah, so I hope that, um, yes. What do you say about that, Andrea? I know you have a lot of experience regarding meditation and so on. And also, yeah, one thing more, fasting. Yeah, sorry. Fasting, that has been a very big part of my routines, actually, and also my brother. And I usually, the latest year, I have eating one meal a day. So it's at least 24-hour fast every day, actually. And then I try to do longer fast. The last long fast I did was 10 days, only water and electrolytes with salt. And that was, it's healed a lot of problems. And I know you have Hashimoto's, and I have similar conditions. So I can say that this 10-day fast did help more than anything else. It really did. Um, so I would recommend it, because I'm quite sure that you are well aware of autophagy. In Swedish is autophagy, autophagy or something like that. That the body cleans up the dead cells. It starts to eat the dead cells when it doesn't get nutrition in from outside, and then it will rebuilds. And then it's very important to refeed a very consciously what you put in your body, because that seed that you lay in, uh, the quality of the seed, that is the food that you lay in the ground, that is the food that you eat before the fast, is very important, because that is what will result in your health later on. And yeah, so Andre, what you say about fasting and meditation and prayer and so on?
Yeah, meditation is something that I've been into for a long time. More at other times, less at other times. But I I do realize that there is a need for a certain amount of prayer or a certain amount of meditation every day. And fasting is like a very natural pattern for me. So if I say go to the gym in the daytime, whatever time that is, I will break my fast right after the gym. The longest fast I ever had was a 3.5 day. So otherwise, um, I fast maybe 20 hours or 16, 20 hours, 24, 27 hours, like that. So I never count it nowadays in the past, because I also fasted for many years, and I never ate breakfast or anything like that. It's just a natural part of life, I think. Yeah. And prayer, I don't have so much to say about. Uh, Unfortunately, I have tried many times.
Try to have the mic closer to the mouth if you can.
Ah, so sorry.
So we did hear you, but
Mhm.
it's a little bit a little bit yeah, not that high.
Yeah.
So
So that's kind of what I think about that. I don't do yoga, but I do stretch, and while it might be yoga poses, I don't think about it like that because I know too little about that. So for me, it's just breathing and stretching, and I often do the butterfly in the full stretch, and I breathe in very deeply, but not harshly, so to speak. And I feel that that calms me very much to do the butterfly, but I'm very flexible when it comes to doing that position. And yeah, it brings me to a calm state of mind. I often do it with open eyes when I do that position. It's very easy for me to get into a relaxed state in that way.
I have to, let's see. I think I have to load this. Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, let's see here. We have been doing this for almost 2 hours. It's pretty getting pretty late. I will see what the time is. Yeah. Uh, I it's oh man, it's way past my bedtime actually. So I unfortunately I have to end this. We will just take the last message here. Jesus, let's say Indian temple says Jesus, awesome guy, kicking the merchants out of our temple. Yeah, out of the temple with the whip. Yes. Uh, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody that have participated in the chat and watching this, and really good questions from, especially from Snavel, Elin, Hashimoto's Reset, and Indian Temple, and also Hussein, and yeah, everyone that have participated. Thank you very much. Fun statements and questions, Indian Temple, quite wild. And thank you very much, brother, for joining in. We will do this again, of course, if you like to, and we will do it more like more structured and more with better sound. We will try to get better sound here with, because it's different to do a live stream and a podcast and a live stream with vertical. Vertical is for mobile phones, but I like this because it's you get a lot of people that join in. But when you do it horizontal, not that many people join in actually. So it just becomes a video recording that you lay out. But this is more engaging. That's why I like this. But it's also more difficult to have good sounds and so forth, because it's not easy to connect my mic with the sound with the phone and so on. So yeah, and maybe we can try to do a test before we do it next time, so the sound is better and so on. Do you have something to say here, Andre?
I just want to thank you for letting me being on here, and also thank the other guys who um, asked the questions and so on and participated. I thank you very much for this. This was a nice thing.
Yeah, and I don't know if you do some content. You have a little YouTube channel, but I don't know if you do content there. But if you have a channel, you can just say that, so maybe people can subscribe.
I had a channel, but I took away everything from the channel. It was like very, very little. I have had a channel a couple of times, but taking it away. Yeah. So right now I don't have any channel at the moment.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe in the future then.
Yeah.
So anyway, I think we end here, and thank you everybody, and don't forget to subscribe. That will help out very much. So thank you, and have a good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye.